You hear it everywhere, right? Everyone is talking about AI. But here's the thing, very few businesses are actually seeing real results. So today, let's fix that. We're going to walk through a really powerful 9-step roadmap that can take your company from just having AI ambition to achieving some real, measurable impact.
I mean, it's a question that probably keeps a lot of leaders up at night, doesn't it? You've invested in the tech, you've got the big ambition, but the results, they're just not showing up. So, what's going on? What's the missing piece of the puzzle?
And that right there is the problem. There's this massive gap between just wanting to use AI and having a concrete, structured plan to actually make it happen. You could call it the AI ambition gap, that huge chasm between the dream of AI and the day-to-day reality of getting it to work.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to bridge that gap. We're going to unpack a framework designed to turn a tangled strategy into a clear road that leads directly to results you can actually measure. It's really a step-by-step guide to get you from point A to point B.
And it all comes down to this one number, 9. 9 foundational pillars that support a truly AI-ready business.
Look, this framework isn't about some huge one-and-done project that promises you the world overnight. Nope. Instead, it's all about strategically building a solid foundation, piece by piece, to make sure your AI strategy isn't just effective today, but that it's actually sustainable for the long haul.
So this whole journey is broken down into 4 really logical stages. We start with direction, setting the vision. Then we move on to design, which is laying all the technical groundwork. From there, it's all about enablement, empowering your people and your platforms. And finally, we drive adoption, making it all stick. All right, let's jump right into stage 1.
Okay, so stage 1, direction. And honestly, this is probably the most important stage of them all. If you get this wrong, everything else that follows is going to be built on really shaky ground. This is where you define the why behind your AI strategy and establish the rules of the road.
So inside this first stage, we've got 3 core pillars we need to build. First, a clear leadership vision. Second, robust governance and policy. And third, a practical use case roadmap that tells everyone what we're actually going to do. Let's break them down one by one.
First up, Pillar 1, leadership vision. This is all about a huge mindset shift. It's the difference between seeing AI as just another piece of software, a tool for the IT department, a cost center, and seeing it for what it truly is, a rocket ship for business value, a genuine competitive advantage.
All right, next up is governance and policy. Think about it. You just can't unleash a technology this powerful without some rules of the road, right? This pillar is all about building trust, both inside your company and with your customers. That means creating clear ethical frameworks and defining who's accountable for what.
And that brings us to the third pillar in this stage, having a real, practical plan. Your use case roadmap is all about being smart. You really want to think about this in 2 ways. You need a path for quick wins, those visible successes that build momentum, and you need a path for the long term, bigger transformation projects.
Okay, so our strategic direction is set. Now we're ready for stage 2, design. This is where we get a little more technical and move from the why to the how and start laying that critical groundwork.
This stage is really all about the plumbing. It's focused on 2 absolutely essential pillars, your data architecture and your data security. If you get these right, you have a solid foundation. Get them wrong, and you're basically building on sand.
Let's be super clear about this. Your AI is only ever going to be as good as the data you feed it. Garbage in, garbage out, right? That's what this pillar, data architecture, is all about. It's about breaking down those data silos and connecting everything into a single, trusted backbone that can fuel everything you want to do.
And of course, data security. This one is absolutely non-negotiable. And here's a really key insight. It's not just about protecting customer info. You also have to secure the AI models themselves from being tampered with. Strong compliance and controls are just fundamental to building an AI you can actually trust.
All right, so we've got the strategy, we've got the technical foundations in place. Now it's time to empower the organization. This is stage 3, enablement.
Enablement is really a 2-sided coin. On one side, you've got the technology. Your platforms have to be ready for AI. And on the other side, and this is just as important, you have your people. They need to be equipped and empowered to actually use these new tools. So let's look at both sides of that coin.
First up, platform readiness. This really means you have to take a hard, honest look at your existing tech. Can your current systems actually handle what AI needs? Is your cloud infrastructure ready to scale?
And maybe the biggest question of all, can your different systems talk to each other? Without that interoperability, you're pretty much stuck. And that, of course, brings us to the other side of the coin, the human side of the equation, people enablement. You can have the most advanced tech in the world, but if your teams don't get it, or they don't trust it, or they don't know how to use it, your whole AI plan is going to stall. Investing in AI literacy and building confidence, this isn't some nice to have, it's absolutely essential for success.
And just like that, we've hit the final stage, adoption. We've set our direction, we've built the foundation, we've enabled our teams. The last big challenge? Making it all stick. How do we weave AI so deeply into the company that it just becomes part of its DNA?
So the last two pillars, these are the ones that make this whole thing sustainable for the long haul. First, change management, actively guiding your people through the transition. And second, continuous improvement, recognizing that AI is never really done.
I mean, let's be real, organizational change is hard. That's why a real change management process is so critical. And this is so much more than just sending out a memo. It means communicating clearly and often, getting people involved from the start, and making sure your leadership is right there, championing the change.
And that brings us to our ninth and final pillar, continuous improvement. This is such a critical reminder that AI is never a one-and-done project. It's a living thing. You have to build in feedback loops, from data, from people, to constantly refine your models, optimize your processes, and scale up what's working across the whole organization. So, when you bring all 9 of these pillars together, what do you get? You get to the real promise of AI. It's not just about the tech, it's about unlocking the 2 most valuable resources any business has, your people's time and your organization's potential. So, that leaves us with one final question for you. As you look at this entire roadmap, from vision all the way to improvement, where do you see the biggest gap in your own organization? Which one of these 9 pillars do you need to start working on, like right now, to finally turn that AI ambition into some real, lasting impact?